Hi, welcome to Yellow Slate, your very own school search engine that helps you find the best schools for your kid based on various filters and parameters.
Today we have Ms. Deepti Sharma, who works as a science educator at Embassy Academy, which is located in Bangalore. Get to know more details about her own experience. Let's have a conversation with her. Hi, ma'am.
Hi, Vihari.
Yeah, to begin with, what sparked your passion for teaching and what made you to choose science to teach younger students?
So, from an early age, I was intrigued by the why behind everything happening around me, why the processes are taking place, why substances are changing, why food is cooking, why the natural processes are happening. So, because of that curiosity, I was led to science and ultimately, eventually, to teaching. Younger students have a natural, curious nature. So, to nurture that early spark of curiosity in the younger students, I ventured into teaching the younger students, and also I wanted to share the same sense of wonder with them, which I had with me. Also, students, as they grow, they observe things around them and they ask multiple questions, which are sometimes not even related to science. They are very, very curious. So, it becomes a fun as each and every child is unique. They have a different perspective to look at the things around them and to get curious about them. So, to deal with them, to interact with them every day is a new learning process for me as well, and it becomes a two-way learning for both of us.
Got it, ma'am. So, ma'am, you specialize in experiential and STEM-based learning. So, can you share an example of how hands-on experiments or real-world applications has helped your students grasp complex scientific concepts?
So there's a quote by Benjamin Franklin that you tell me, I will forget. You teach me, I may remember. You involve me, I learn. So that is very apt for experiential learning, actually. Once you involve the child in what you are teaching, you are trying to teach, then they understand better, and even the complex science concepts become manageable for them. So I would like to share an example with you. There's a topic in science, food preservation. Now, if you are teaching it just simply in the class, just delivering the facts, one point is it is a very boring topic for the students. Second thing, they are not able to understand. So we take our young children to the science lab, just show them some slides of microbes under a microscope. So they get to know microbes are something which ma'am is talking about, which help us also and which are responsible for the spoilage of food. Now we come to the preservation part. So our students, they made lemon pickle in school. So they just added some salt and sugar to lemon pieces, kept it in the sunlight for 3 weeks in an airtight container, and they got their lemon pickle. So the food preservation concept was explained to them in a very different manner, which connected them to the process. They very proudly, they carried their own containers home after the pickle was ready, and they shared it with their family members. So the concept, the chapter of food preservation, they have learned it for life, and they will definitely use it in their life always. So I feel if we can use some simple experiments, some simple processes in the day-to-day learning of concepts of science, it becomes interesting for the children. One thing. Second thing, it stays with them for a longer time than a simple lesson delivered just for teaching purpose.
Got it. Coming to the resources that the school provides, especially to learn science, what makes it unique compared to other schools in the approach?
Of course, Embassy Academy has very advanced science labs, but beyond those labs, the whole learning environment around us is one which the child can learn new things every day. We have very eco-friendly, sustainable campus. So children, they learn science in a way that they learn it, they connect it to the environment and also make an impact, make a contribution in saving the environment. Like, for example, I'll tell you, we have our water recharging points in our school. Students are normally aware about the water harvesting. So water harvesting is collecting the rainwater for our personal use. But when we have water recharging points, so we are basically replenishing the groundwater for the whole community, not only for our own purpose. So that ways our students, they develop a sense of community. Apart from that, we encourage them to design their own projects, their own models. In school itself, they conduct all these activities with the help of teachers, with the guidance of teachers in school, and we try to include the products which have been used once. We try to reuse old cardboard boxes, shredded paper, and all these things to make new projects. Then they explain these projects, they present these projects in the academic exhibition, and that thing, it reinforces the concept concept on which the model is built because they have worked on it from scratch. So they know in and out of it. So our projects might not be very perfect or very beautiful because they are made by children, and sometimes it doesn't go well also. Sometimes they make mistakes also. So that is what we try to teach them, that you cannot get perfection at one go, and that is not even expected. You need to learn, and as you learn, you grow with it. You devise your own methods which will work in your favor. So we encourage them to be open-minded, to experiment, to make mistakes. That's perfectly fine. But ultimately, they have to find the right solution. So that encourages them and it intrigues them also. Everything is not very simple as it is being shown. We have to find different ways how we can do something.
Got it, ma'am. So, ma'am, what's your take on integrating science with other subjects? If you're in favor of that talk, how would you suggest it to be done?
So I think it is very, very important and it's very useful when we integrate different subjects. So here we follow thematic curriculum. In thematic curriculum, we follow the same theme across subjects. In English, in science, in math, in SST, the same theme is being followed. As a result, the theme or the concept gets blended very easily. Now, suppose I'll give you an example. A child is learning water cycle in science. So at the same point of time, he might be learning a poem on rain in English, and he might be plotting graphs in maths for the rainfall data. So all the concepts are related, and the same concept is also being reinforced for each and every subject. So that thematic approach helps the reinforcement of a particular concept. That is one thing. Another thing is interdisciplinary projects. When we include different subjects in a project, that also reinforces their concepts. If we are doing unity in diversity in SST and we incorporate maybe the foods cooked in different places or the music of different places, different states in India, and then they perform a role play based on that. So the same concept from different places is getting embedded in a very seamless way, and they are able to continue the learning process in a better manner. The concept is reinforced. It's deeply ingrained in them. So I think interdisciplinary learning, integrating the subjects, it's a very, very useful technique to teach young children specifically.
Got it. So yeah, going to our next question. Technology, particularly in STEM education, has seen rapid growth. How do you incorporate technology into your science lessons, and how do you encourage students to make the most of tech schools in their learning?
Normally, the science concepts, some concepts are quite difficult for them to understand. So we use animation to support those concepts so that it becomes, once it is visually there, they get that reinforcement is done that, okay, this is what is being told to us. So animations are definitely of great help. Apart from that, we have augmented reality and virtual reality. So we explore that for immersive learning experience for the students. Also, some of the apps which are very useful for them. Like I'll give you a recent example. We had a rare planetary alignment. So recently, few months back, all the planets were aligned because they saw the planets which they thought they will never be able to see without a telescope. So they were so surprised, and each one was ready to discuss their own experiences. So there I feel technology was really helpful. Otherwise, you keep telling them, okay, planets are aligned, this planet looks like this. Still, it's until and unless they see themselves. And if they gaze in the sky, they are also not able to locate themselves. So with the help of that app, they were able to locate where are the planets and how they are aligned. So this is just an example. So similarly, wherever possible, and though we want themselves to experiment a lot, but definitely technology is very advanced these days, and wherever it is of any help to them, we try to incorporate it and help them in their learning.
Okay, fine. Ma'am, to conclude our interview, what would you advise to parents on how they can actually support their child's interest and curiosity in science at home?
So as we do in school, I think parents also need to follow the same method. They should encourage the child to be curious. They should encourage the child to ask more questions, to be curious about everything that is happening. Let the child be involved in their day-to-day chores. Let him be a part of the gardening whenever you are doing gardening. Let him be there. Let him see how the plants are growing, which soil is good for which plant. Let the child be involved in kitchen while you are cooking food. Let him see how the various processes are taking place in the kitchen, because I think in kitchen, maximum science takes place in the kitchen only. Let them see the working of washing machine, how the clothes are spinning, how they are drying, how come they become semi-dry when they come out of the washing machine. So once we start involving the child in day-to-day chores, their curiosity, definitely it's not possible child will not ask anything. They are going to ask multiple questions. Then comes our role as parents to address those questions, not to tell the child, okay, I'll tell you later, or I don't know, or why do you ask so many questions. So encourage them to be inquisitive, encourage them to experiment. Sometimes even if they want to make your house dirty by doing some small experiments, please let them do. That way only they are going to learn how to do the things correctly. Once they do it wrong, second time they'll get it correct also. Don't be scared if the child wants to use a knife. Don't give him a knife. Give him a butter knife to maybe make pieces of a banana so that it will not even hurt him, and he'll get the feeling that, okay, I did something. So involvement of the child is very, very important, and also the involvement of the parents along with the children when they are asking questions is also very important. So I feel if the parents can also proceed in the same direction, definitely the child will be interested in science and learn new concepts in science every day.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for joining and sharing some of the great insights about science.
Thank you.